Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Happy Friday. Feliz Viernes por mi Latinos, hermanos, and hermanas. It is Orange Buds Live. It's your favorite Uncle Anwar Richardson here. And guess what? We got another game this weekend. And we really got to enjoy this one, right? Because we got Texas versus Sam Houston State, and then Texas goes into a bye after that. And then we just got to get to chill and catch up with family and everything like that. And before Florida is right around the corner, this is the last tune-up game for Texas. And before those Gators, before we head up to Florida, I don't know how many of you guys are flying into Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville. I don't know. Some of you guys are going to fly directly into Gainesville for those of y'all who are making the trip. So, man, we got a lot to discuss today. We're going to talk about the games, not only Texas and Sam Houston State. I'm going to give you some of my 5 keys to victory, which previously I used to say, these are just things I want to see. Well, now clearly these are 5 keys to victory, right? We'll talk about the games that are upcoming this weekend. We'll revisit some of the polls that are there. Steve Sarkisian spoke to the media yesterday. So we got a lot to get into. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. And by the way, whose birthday is it? Whose birthday is it in the chat? I feel like there's someone. Yeah, by the way, Rodolfo. I don't know. It's Court or Rodolfo. But one of y'all, who's got the birthday coming up? Rodolfo. Next Texas game is on your birthday. Well, happy early birthday, young buck. 23 years old. Rodolfo is good friend of the show. I feel like somebody else had a birthday this week though that I might have missed, and I didn't. And if I didn't, go ahead and put that in there as well. Let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it because we got a lot of ground to cover in a short period of time. So let's go ahead. Let's do a couple of recaps of certain things. And by the way, I'm going to talk about that in a second. I put that there strategically, so we'll talk about that in a moment. All right. Let's do a quick couple of recaps so we can catch everybody up to what's going on and where we're at this moment. All right. We're going to just recap some of the polls from this past week. This was the AP poll. Texas was ranked 8th in the AP poll, still a top 10 team. Other programs of note that are there: LSU still being at the number 3 spot, Georgia at that number 5 spot after that win against Tennessee. And of course, you've got Texas A&M and Oklahoma right behind them. And then, of course, you can see the rest of that slate there. And, you got Georgia Tech at that number 18 spot. You got Vandy at 20. So it's going to be interesting, again. And I don't think Mississippi State is ranked in this one. They might be ranked in the coaches poll, if I remember correctly. Let me go over to the coaches poll. And no, they don't have Mississippi State there. But Mississippi State is going to continue winning. Now all of a sudden, some of those games that we looked at before the season, which is always crazy. It's always those games that, always kind of warn us that, hey, just so you know, like there's going to be teams that are going to be better than expected. Vanderbilt's good. Mississippi State is good. No, they're not great, but they're good. And so all of a sudden, these games aren't the pushovers that we thought they might be. Texas at the number 7 spot in the coaches poll. Georgia's at number 3. LSU is at number 4. So again, you just can kind of round out your Texas A&M as a top 10 team. Alabama's in there as well. South Carolina still hanging on, and Vanderbilt at 23, potentially a little bit too low, but that's where they're at. This was, again, just recapping for those who missed, these were my power rankings. Some people really, like the power rankings. Other people, it was kind of a hurt kind of thing. But I think for the most part, everyone understood. I put Georgia at that number 1 spot for me. Oklahoma, I moved them up to number 2. You might say Oklahoma is overrated, and Ketch and I have gone back and forth a little bit on Orange Bloods, and he'll say, he expected Oklahoma to beat Michigan. I still say I don't know if we expected Mateer to look as good as he did or the defense to look as good as they have played. So I've got them at number 2. To further notice, I moved LSU down after their loss. I got A&M, and then Vanderbilt. I'm kind of prisoner of the moment as relates to Vanderbilt. Do I think once we get to the second half of the season, Vanderbilt's going to have that kind of success? No. But when I go and just judge it based off of quality wins so far, it's hard to beat their resume as far as quality wins compared to everyone else. So would Georgia would Vanderbilt necessarily beat Tennessee? Probably not. But right now, I just can only judge with the teams that they play. Right. So we got Auburn at the number 6 spot. Tennessee, Mississippi State, of course. Again, will that stand the test of time? Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, probably not. But for the moment, it's kind of like when they ranked USF. Just you have to rank it on where they are at this moment as opposed to where you think it's going to be at in week 8 or 9 or 10. I moved Texas down just because while they do have the wins against San Jose State and UTEP, just not impressive, unfortunately, from the offensive perspective. And so until that eye test kind of starts popping a little bit more, even though I know the defense is playing well, I got to have Texas down at the number 9 spot. Ole Miss rounds it out for me. Alabama, I moved them up a little bit after their win. Missouri, y'all know I don't care about. I moved South Carolina down after that loss. I know they ended up losing their starting quarterback. Still, that was kind of an ass kicking by Vanderbilt. And so someone's got to pay the price. And yes, Shane Beamer, you're my guy, but you got your ass kicked. So you got to move down to my rankings. Then I fill it out with Arkansas, Kentucky, and Florida, and which is not fun for all of my Floridians who, they're like, damn, you moved to Texas and you really just don't care about Florida. Well, first of all, I was a Florida State fan. When I went to USF, we didn't actually have a program back then. That's how old I am. We didn't have a football program. So I grew up as a Florida State fan, first of all. But secondly, the Gators look like trash. And so DJ Lagway just threw another interception. So now, look, I know Lagway sucks. Well, at least he was really bad this past game. But none of these offenses, Texas and Florida, have looked that great. So I don't even know what that looks like in a couple of weeks on Rodolfo's birthday. But we'll talk about that in a second. Here's the games for this upcoming weekend. You're looking for things to do and places to be. By the way, if you're looking for a place to watch the games, you should go out to TCH, Texas Card House. It's off of 183 by the Aquarium. They've got a bunch of screens out there. Kind of reminds you like of a Vegas sports book, quite honest with you, with all the TV screens that they have out there. So if you're looking for a place to watch the game, you don't want to be by yourself. They got drink specials and stuff like that. Just, go out there, just drink reasonably and get a designated driver if you need to, get an Uber, because Unc is not trying to bail y'all out over the weekend. Don't call me in the middle of the night. Okay. Arkansas at Memphis. For those who are incredibly bored at noon and have nothing to do, you've got UAB at Tennessee. This is that game's for the degenerate gamblers. Or somebody who's got some prize picks in there. They just want to see Tennessee run up the score. Tulane at Ole Miss. Again, that's a yawner. But we get a little bit more exciting in the afternoon hour. Auburn at Oklahoma. Big test for both of these programs. Both of them. And, these are two programs that we thought going into the season probably wouldn't be good. The jury's still out on them at this moment. But I think this would tell us a little bit more about them. Might tell us a little bit more about Oklahoma than it will Auburn. But Oklahoma gets a win in this game. It's going to be real interesting. This is why I said that Mississippi State's going to keep winning, because Mississippi State's got Northern Illinois now, unless there's some sort of crazy upset that I'm not anticipating. But if I looked at Mississippi State schedule, because I think I looked at it this week. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. This judgment-free zone. Can we live in a judgment-free zone? But I noticed that they played Northern Illinois, and then I was like, okay, well, that's another win for them. So that's 4-0. But then they go Tennessee, A&M, at Florida, Texas, Arkansas, Georgia, Missouri, Ole Miss. So it might be one of these, you rain on the top with short leprechauns kind of thing. Green Lantern, you know what I'm talking about? Green Lantern, you got the reference? I want to know if anyone else got the reference. Florida at Miami. I mean, that should be pretty much a butt kicking at that point. South Carolina at Missouri. That one is a good conference game. Georgia State at Vanderbilt, and the rest, it's not really a great slate of games. If we're just being quite honest with you, Southeastern Louisiana at LSU, Sam Houston State at Texas, like nothing for you to really get excited about. I feel like there's a game missing though. Does Georgia have a bye week or something? I don't see Georgia on the schedule. Is Georgia off? Let me look right quick because I don't see Georgia on here. Doesn't look like Georgia has a game, so that probably makes sense as to why they're not on the schedule. Yep, the open date. All right. Well, I got older eyes now. Next week, Georgia plays Alabama at home, so that should be interesting. That should be a good game there. Good barometer for them. So that should slay the SEC games. Nothing to be excited about. Auburn and Oklahoma be the only one really worth watching for our vantage point in the afternoon. Everything else is kind of, yeah. And just so you know, Sam Houston State at Texas, that's on ESPN Plus and SEC Network Plus, which I don't even know. I didn't even know there was a SEC Network Plus. I knew there was an ESPN Plus, but I didn't know there's an SEC Network Plus. That's interesting. All right. In the tiniest font that there ever could be, in the smallest font ever, what is this? Like Roman italic 8? Roman italic 6? What the hell? Oh man. If you are driving, don't even try. Don't do this to yourself. Okay, total offense. Sam Houston State's ranked 112th in the country. Texas is tied for 76. Passing offenses, Sam Houston is 100th, and Texas is 86th. Rushing offense, Sam Houston is 97th. Texas is tied for 51. In scoring offense, tied for 99 is Sam Houston State, and Texas is tied for 91st. A big difference, obviously, is a defensive standpoint. Texas total defense is at 20. Sam Houston's is at 123. So they're bad. They're bad on defense. This in theory, should be a game, in theory, where Texas is doing the damn thing on the offensive side against a team that is just should, in theory, not stack up to Texas. But I've been saying that for the past 2 weeks, and that it hasn't. It's not. What is it? Freezing takes exposed or frozen takes exposed, whatever that one is called. It's not that bad, but everything I thought it was going to be, it has not been that good. So, any case, this will be definitely more interesting, I say, once we get to SEC play. Then I think once we get into the SEC play, this will be a little bit more interesting for everybody. I'm telling you, dog, we are going rapid pace, rapid fire today. I'm covering every single thing for y'all. Hope everyone is doing well, getting ready for our weekend. Let's also do this. Let us have some stuff from Coach Sarkisian as relates to what's going on with this team. Way to go.
Good morning, Sark. Last non-conference game, you might have a chance to play, a lot of young guys. Are there any specific young guys you want to see more snaps from, and any specific position groups you'd like to see some of the younger guys play at?
Yeah, naturally, we're seeing the running backs, obviously, and I'd like to see a little bit more of some of the younger receivers. Obviously, Dalen McCutcheon's been out there and Kalik a little bit, but the more we can get those guys going. I'd like to see a few more of these young O-linemen. I think Nate Kibble's coming along. Nick Brooks is coming along. Maybe a Danny Cruz, things of that nature. I think defensively, we saw a short glimpse of, Jordan Johnson-Rebel last week and Wardell Mack and getting their footing underneath them. I think now having the availability of Jonah Williams, of getting him out there, Cade Phillips, at corner, another guy who, if we can get more reps at, more looks at there. So, and then, we've been spot playing some of these young defensive linemen, but them getting their feet wet and playing more football. So I don't know if it's just, one group in particular. Again, it's all these guys, because we don't know, come October, November, December, whatever this looks like, what position group could get hit. Knock on wood. We play a violent sport and injuries happen. And so the more exposure we can get these guys now, I think will serve us well down the road.
Hey, Steve, we know that defensive edge rushers, sacks are oxygen for those guys. What have you seen from Colin Simmons in practice over this last week? And how's his approach been, even though the numbers aren't up for him?
Yeah, he practiced his ass off yesterday. I haven't watched the tape of today yet, but man, he practiced so well yesterday. He practiced hard. He practiced physical. He was running our games really well up front. He affected the quarterback. He was really good. And, I think as you go throughout the season and sometimes when you play in games like we've played the last couple of weeks where sometimes the opponent may feel like the offensive line might be a little bit outmanned versus your defensive front. There's thoughts and ideas of how do we neutralize a pass rush and whether that's running the ball, whether that's moving the pocket, whether that's using varying cadences, whether that's getting the ball out quickly. We've tried to explain to Colin, when you're good, people are going to try to neutralize you. And so you have to have a plan to beat how they're trying to neutralize you. And part of that is having that poise and composure to stay on side. Part of that is not to get frustrated when you're not getting home and stay disciplined within the defense. And then part of that is maximizing your opportunities when you do get them. And so getting the half a sack last week, I think was important, once he got going. We all know as we start to move into the season here down the road in a couple weeks, people they're gonna try to play a little bit more traditionally and take their shots and do their things, and we've got to be ready to execute at a high level when that comes. But right now it's about, hey, am I playing with maximum effort? Right? Am I prepared really well mentally, physically, emotionally? Am I playing within the scheme of the defense with all 11 guys? And then have faith that when my opportunities do come, I'm going to be in the right spot to go make my plays. And so, hey, the flow of the season is what it is. We got a long way to go. Colin is more than equipped to have a great season for us. Not a good one, a great one, and looking forward to him, kind of getting ready to take it to another level.
Travis, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you talk about taking the play from the practice field to the game. Is the arch we're seeing on Saturday so far the same arch you're seeing on the practice field during the week?
No, I would say no. I would say we get a little different version in practice, and so naturally that's kind of what I'm talking about, is that ability to take Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and play with that same kind of confidence and intent on Saturday. And so that's the part for us, is that we see and we know what it looks like. My goal is that you all get to see that. And that's what we're striving for. He's had a great week, so I'm proud of him for that.
Good morning, Coach. Hey,
morning.
Coach, other than the win, what are the things you want to see from your team? By the way, I thought it was really interesting for him to kind of say the arch that they see in the practice during the week is definitely not the arch that they see on the weekends, and which obviously just shows that speed of the game makes a difference, adjustments, and then that what makes the difference between sometimes when everyone's saying like it's mental. Well, yeah, if you can perform well in one setting and then not on another, yeah, it says a little bit of there's a mental thing, and that's why it's probably not as physical. I thought it was a really interesting answer, by the way.
Maybe all sides of the ball. What's the things that when we see you at 10:30 or 11 o'clock on Saturday night, you would be happy to talk to us about?
Yeah, I think as always, we hold our guys to some simple things, and one is our brand or our style of football, right? That's fast, that's physical, that's tough, and that's smart. And that encompasses a lot, don't get me wrong, but I think when you're playing fast, you know what to do, and you can go cut it loose. Because we should be a fast team. I think the physicality in which we want to play the game in all three phases, I think is very clear. And that's not just at the line of scrimmage. I'm talking on the perimeter. That's perimeter blocking. That's tackling. That's the way we cover kicks. I think the toughness piece is the ability to persevere and overcome. Everybody thinks toughness is physical. I'm thinking a lot about the mental toughness, because the game's not going to go perfect. And how do we respond to adversity in game? And then smart. We're playing smart football. And I think that's where some of our penalties have stemmed from. I think some of our penalties are not very smart plays, and we pride ourselves on being a smart football team. And so we got to get back to that. And then naturally the ball. I always look at the ball. Like, are we taking care of the ball? And one thing I was really proud of last week, all those carries by those young backs, they held on to the ball. They took care of the ball. Obviously, defensively, we've created 6 turnovers the last 2 games. So I would love to come out of here with no turnovers on offense Saturday. I'd love to create a couple or a few on defense. I'd love to play fast, physical, tough, smart football. And if we can do all those things, we're probably playing a brand and a style of football that we're accustomed to around here.
Evan, go ahead.
Hi there, Coach. Hope you're doing well. How has all 3 of the young running backs played in practice after kind of a long game on Saturday? And what are you looking for from those 3 as your last out of conference?
This will be the last one, by the way.
Yeah, I think that they've all done well. They're all kind of at a different phase, and they've all got their own unique style to the way that they play the game. I think the one thing that we're really trying to impress upon them is to not just take the ball and run. Because that's easy. The running back, he just gets the ball and run. But understanding the blocking schemes, understanding the defenses and how the blocking schemes fit with defenses so that they can set runs up and hit runs, where they're supposed to go with the right timing. And that's always with young backs, that's always one of the challenges is they can go too fast, they can go too slow, they can look to cut back too much, they can just try to run around everybody. This isn't high school anymore. You just don't run around everybody anymore like they do in high school all the time. Like, you have to set blocks. You got to run through arm tackles. You got to have great ball security. You got to use your weapons, your stiff arms, your speed, all those things, your jump cuts, and you got to apply all those things. On top of, you got to pass protect, and you got to understand pass protection and what that looks like mentally, but then using the physicality to block people and not get knocked back into the quarterback. So there's layers to the position that is not always easy for young runners. But I've been impressed with these 3. I think Coach Scott's done a great job of developing these guys. And this is an awesome opportunity for them. Like, this couldn't be a better 2-week run for these guys of getting this valuable experience that is going to not only help them, but help us as a team down the road.
Yeah, now the biggest thing is those guys got to take advantage of those opportunities and turn those opportunities into positive gains, breakout gains, like all those kinds of things, right? So, we're also going to get right now into my keys. These are my keys. And it's interesting because I went to last week, the last 2 weeks, I've done my keys to victory, right? And I put those things in air quotes because I'm like, I know Texas is going to win. So I don't really necessarily mean my keys to victory. And just basically I just things I want to see. And now I'm like, these are my keys to victory. Damn that. Because I keep thinking, well, Texas is going to blow this team out. So these are just some fun little things. No, all right, this is why I'm just tired of underestimating all these non-Power 4 programs. So these are my keys to victory. And here's what's interesting. As I went through my last week's keys, because I was going to review my last week's keys and then do a new set of them, I realized there was no need to do anything different because all my keys have remained the same. Right. Guess what? The same key I had last week is going to be the same key this week. Kind of playing off of what Sark just said, a heavy dose of Christian Clark and James Simon. We know that Trey Weiser is not going to play. We know that CJ Baxter is not going to play. So those guys, that means Christian Clark, Simon. That means a potential a little bit of Jarrett Gibson. All those guys, one heavy dose of those 2. I need all those guys to stand out. I need all those guys to play well. I need all those guys to be exceptional. And so that my biggest thing as far as going forward, because we know, and Sark discussed it, but we understand the volatility of that running back position. We've seen guys get hurt over the past couple of years. We've seen C.J. Baxter go down the past 2 years. We've seen Christian Clark get hurt, right? And so because of that, we just understand, like Jonathan Brooks came out and he was a backup. We saw Trey Wiseman last year. He was a backup, right? So whoever these backups are, there's a potential, because of how violent that position is, that you're going to have to see the backups. And that's why Christian Clark, James Simon, they've got to take advantage of this opportunity. They've got to be some guys that just say, we need to see a burst of speed. We need some breakout plays. We need something, because we haven't seen it from the run game this year. And so I need a heavy dose of that. My second key, same as last week, we'll do it again this week. Get Ryan Wingo involved. Now, he's got the targets. Targets ain't the issue. It's the receptions. That's the issue. Now, and look, some of that we know there's a lot of figures to you can point at different directions, but at the end of the day, whether it's a Wingo's portion of it, whether it's an Arch portion of it, nonetheless, they got to get him involved. You've got to get this guy cooking, because conference play is coming. It's right around the corner, y'all. We will be in Gainesville. Most of us are going to be on a plane 2 Fridays from now. And so this thing with Texas is going against, when we start talking about some of these back-to-back games, or we start talking about this game in 2 weeks, Florida, then we start talking about Oklahoma, then you go to Kentucky, right? And then I think after Kentucky is that back here for that week or not? I can't remember a specific, but nonetheless, because it's Mississippi State's later, right? Let me just see. Let me make sure. No, Mississippi State. No, Kentucky, then Mississippi State, then Vanderbilt. Got to get Wingo going before that. So once again, I need Wingo there. Number 3, still same as last week. Eliminate the penalties. It's just they're not so smart penalties, especially on the offensive line. And the most inopportune times, you got to take care of that. Got to take care of that. So I need some penalties that eliminated. Once again, I need this game to be put away by halftime. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again this week. There's no need for me to reinvent the wheel. Until I see it, this is what it is. Put this game away by halftime. We want to see some of the other guys play. Like we literally are stuck in this little vortex thing where we're like, man, can't wait to see some of these young guys, and we can't see them because we're still in life and death game in the third quarter, and then we can't pull your quarterback in the middle of the third like Quinn was before. It's like he's still in there. So got to put this game away by halftime. And one of my favorite ones is my last one. It'll never happen, but nonetheless, it's my 5th key. Sark. It'll never happen. Sark is like, 4th and what? Going for it. He's like, Sark is like, I know I got 2 kickers on scholarship. Not 1, 2. And he's like, man, we ain't using them. they can sit there on the sideline. Like, we ain't using them. But nonetheless, Sark, just get used to it. Just try it. Try it one time. I think you'll like it. Take the points. But it's never going to happen. All right. Nonetheless, hey, so a couple of things. A couple of just housekeeping issues real quick. Where is the promo here? He's supposed to, here we go. Texas versus Sam Houston State post-game show. That will be this upcoming Saturday. 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Join us. Ain't a lot going on. join us, watch that post game, because we won't have a post game following week, right? So get as much as you can, soak it in. Texas, the post game show. And okay, here's a cool thing. Save the best for last. I had to X out my address for you degenerates out there. There's probably someone still can see it at some point, whatever. So this box, got it from YouTube. Guess what? We will have today live from TCH Social in Austin at noon. We will have our unboxing special for Orange Bloods passing 100,000 subscribers. So if you are in Austin, you're looking for something to do, just looking to hang out with the crew, we are all going to be there. We are all going to be there. maybe it should be like the president and vice president, right? With no one, you can't have them all at one place at one time just to be safe, right? But nonetheless, we will have our unboxing special today at noon. So make sure you guys are around for that. And then at some point, I'm going to put this bad boy somewhere. Maybe I'll put it over here on the wall. Maybe I might just leave it right here. I don't know what it is, but I just got to make sure I bring it as well. So Bo says, by the way, Bo, friend of the program right here. We'll end with this one. He says boomer sooner, but good luck, fellas. Bo, yeah, we just went over that. You guys, tough game ahead against Auburn. But, look, Bo, you can't say, by the way, Bo, you can't say that Unk is not somewhat fair. And I try to be unbiased, even though we all have our own biases. But you can look at my power rankings, and you guys cannot say that I sip the Kool-Aid. I do sometimes have some water that I mix in there before my vodka. All right, y'all. That's it, man. Hey, have a fantastic weekend, man. This is a good one, man. This is going to be a fun weekend for us. Again, getting started on this show today, but then again, the Friday show that we're all going to be a part of and celebrating. And then, man, I'm going to go and enjoy. I got kids games this weekend. So my son's got a football game on Saturday morning that I'll get a chance to attend. Just way out there, some city north of San Antonio. So I got to do that. I got a game on Saturday night, and I'm going to try to enjoy my weekend. And then next week is the bye week, so I'm definitely going to be enjoying my weekend. But I'll still be back, and I'll be back tonight, this afternoon. Hopefully, I'll be able to get on the live show on Saturday. I haven't been able to pop in on that for some odd reason, but maybe I get a chance to join in on that. If not, at worst, y'all see me back here on Monday as well. Remember what I always say: live each day like it's your last. One day it will be. So make sure you go out and have a fantastic, fantastic weekend. Go do something nice for yourself. Go do something special for yourself, because you absolutely 100% deserve it. Don't let nobody else do nothing for you. Don't wait on nobody else. Do it for yourself, because you deserve it. Ain't nobody going to love you like you. So even if it's going to treat yourself to a nice little lunch today, go ahead and do that. And on that note, I will see you guys back here for the noon show. We'll see what happens with Texas and Sam Houston State. Goodness gracious, I don't want to have a post-game show like we've done the past couple of weeks. Hopefully it's just a curb stomping, and then we could just go ahead into the bye week talking about good things.